eating ASMR for you guys.
Hi everybody, welcome. It's my first video of 2024. It has been like 3 months and I have an explanation. I spent about probably 3 hours total of filming my what I read in 2023 video. There was about 2 hours of footage. I filmed the first half. I just lost all my motivation and about a week later filmed the other half. And I read 74 books in 2023. I talked to my boyfriend and I was like, you know, I don't feel proud to upload this video. I just kind of feel like I'm doing it just to do it, and I want to be proud of what I upload. I was not very prepared to film this video, and he was like, you know, this is your hobby. You shouldn't post things that you're not confident about. Like, you should post things that you're passionate about, basically, is what he said. So it is March. It is March 25th, and I have escaped the darkness and decided to film what I read in January and February of 2024. So I'm very excited. Hopefully I will be able to keep the month-to-month filming regimen. I was editing all the previous videos that I've posted on my phone, and that was really hard. So I have bought a few things that will help me make editing easier, like a Bluetooth mouse and a iPad keyboard. And hopefully that will make my editing process easier and leave me less burnt out, because I was burnt out from all of the editing that the last video I tried to film took. I started the year out in a bit of a book slump because towards the end of the year I was really focused on trying to bring my numbers up all the way, so I was like reading really short books and I wasn't very confident. Like, I was like, I have to hit my Goodreads goal, I have to hit my Goodreads goal. I got a Kindle for Christmas, and these stickers aren't actually stuck on there. I use the clear case. Little ASMR for you. I use the clear case to set the stickers in, and then like every few weeks or whenever I'm bored, I just like switch out the stickers. So that's exciting. The first book that I read this year was The Hunger Games by Suzanne Collins. If I had uploaded my last video, I would have talked about The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, which I read in November. I tried to upload a November Reads video. I was super busy with the holidays. I tried to upload a December Reads video, and the winter just burnt me out, so I didn't end up getting there, but I was hyper focused on The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes. I gave the book 3 stars. I liked the movie better than the book, but overall I rated The Hunger Games first book 4 stars. I was really looking for something familiar, and I read The Hunger Games when I was like 13. I just wanted to go through and rewatch all the movies again. So I read the first book, and then me and my boyfriend binged all of the other movies just to get back into the world of The Hunger Games, and I loved it. I think I loved it even more now that I am 23. So like 10 years ago I read it, and I loved it even more now because I was able to understand the more serious undertones, but it was super easy to read because it was written for young adults. Yeah, I'm really glad that I read that one. So the next book that I read after that was These Violent Delights by Chloe Gong. I was pretty tired and didn't have a lot of mental energy to focus on sitting down and actually reading, so I read along with the audiobook, and the narrator for this audiobook was really good. I think that there was something missing from this book though, because I rated it 3 stars. It is about a girl named Juliet and this boy named Roma. They are from 2 opposing gangs in Shanghai, China. And there is a sickness that is very similar to like the pandemic, but it's a lot more grotesque. It's basically like these insects eat your brain, and that's probably partially why I didn't like it, because it just kind of felt a little too similar to a pandemic. So that's probably why I didn't like it, which is very disappointing. But I have heard mixed reviews about books by Chloe Gong. I'm not much of a fantasy reader, so the next book that I read was Throttled by Lauren Asher. I rated it 4 stars. I read the entire Dirty Air series. I think this was multiple snow days, and so I was trapped at home and I was just looking for something really easy to read. I heard that these books took place in the Formula 1 sport, and my boyfriend is really into cars, not Formula 1, but I thought that that was a great book that could kind of combine some of our hobbies. Throttled is a forbidden romance between this girl named Maya and her brother's teammate, Noah. I think that the 2 characters are definitely based off of Charles Leclerc and Carlos Sainz from the Ferrari team, which made this even better. I was going through character reels and everything. I was like invested. I think that this joint series read was probably a collective 4.5 stars for me, because I went through the entire series in probably like 4 days, which is a bit embarrassing, but that is okay. I will put my like top ranked books at the bottom here to show you which ones I liked the most, because I rated Throttled 4 stars, I rated Collided 3 stars, and Wrecked 5 stars. So I think you might be able to tell which one was my favorite. And then I rated Redeemed 4 stars. All of them take place within the same universe. All of them are standalones. You can read any of them in any order that you want, but I would recommend the orders that they are already in, just because there will be a few spoilers if you start with like, let's say, the 4th book or the 3rd book, because all the characters, you know, are in each other's lives because they're all really good friends, or they all are in the same professional sport. So just a warning, but I loved it. I would definitely reread it again. All 4 of them are on Kindle Unlimited if you're a Kindle owner. It was amazing. After I read that series, I read the 4th book in the Before the Coffee Gets Cold series, which is Before We Say Goodbye by Toshikazu Kawaguchi. And this series has just a special place in my heart. I rated it 4 stars, so that was very awesome and cool. I don't know why I'm trying to race through this fast. I think I'm just the last filming experience I had. I had to get through 74 videos, so I was like, but we still do have 18 books on this list, so I'm gonna try to make a shorter video. The next book that I read is If Cats Disappeared from the World by Genki Kawamura. I hope I'm pronouncing that correctly. I rated it 4 stars. It's basically about this man that makes a deal with the devil. It's very campy and very magical realism about this man who gets diagnosed with cancer and basically is given a few months to live, but then he gets like approached by the devil and makes a deal, like he's like, I'll let you live 1 more day if you choose one thing from the world that disappears. So he could choose like music or movies or you or cats or Sprite. What are you looking at? Huh? What are you looking at? She's like, I don't understand what you're saying right now. And it was really cute. It was really short. I read it on Kindle Unlimited. I'm actually really glad that I didn't buy it because I love to buy a lot of Japanese and Korean literature. I think I have like a whole shelf dedicated to just Asian American literature, so that is awesome. Why are you grooming yourself on camera? She don't care. She's just showing herself to the world. Anyways, I'm really glad I didn't buy it because it's free with the $13 subscription per month on Kindle Unlimited. And then after that, I read Winter in Sokcho by Elisa Dusapin. She also wrote The Pachinko Parlor. She writes very short but very whimsical, mundane books just about normal people living their lives. This one is about a tourist town between the North and South Korean border. I'm actually going to Korea in May, so if I have the chance, I would love to go there. One evening, an unexpected guest who is French stays at this boarding house that she works at, and they develop like a friendship and just get to know each other. It is a very beautiful story, and I read it at 4 stars. It's only like 200, maybe less, pages, so it was very nice and very sweet. This is the last book that I started in January, but I finished it in February, so we're like on the border of January and February. I read The Things That We Leave Unfinished, and the only reason that I have not bought this book is because every time I see it, of course this picture on Goodreads doesn't have it, but literally every time I see it, it has a like sticker. Why isn't this focusing? I need this to focus. It has a sticker that says "as seen on TikTok." Actually, no, not a sticker. It just has a part of the cover. It says "as seen on TikTok," and I do not want a book that says that where I can't take it off. And now, after reading it, I rated it 2.5 stars because some books are famous on TikTok, and I'm not sure why. I don't like to bash authors or books. This one was written by Rebecca Yarros, and I liked parts of it. Let me just read my review so I can better sum up this. I said a lot, and I mean a lot, happened in the 3rd act. So much so, I had to stop and go back to be like, what's going on? Because too much happened that it was hard for me to stay in the story and feel deeply for the characters. It was so confusing that at the end, I was like, I couldn't even be sad because I just digested so much that I was like, what did I just read? This book is about a girl named Georgia, and she is basically her great-grandma's beneficiary. Her great-grandma's name is Scarlett, and she is like, they have hired this man to write about Scarlett and her deceased husband Jameson's love story during World War II. It's been a while since I read this, so but Georgia loved her grandmother so much, and she doesn't think that anybody should write about that story except for her deceased great-grandmother, because her great-grandmother wrote a bunch of romance novels from, like, I think she wrote about 60 romance novels. So basically Georgia is just really protective of her grandma, and it becomes an enemies to lovers, but like every chapter flips between Georgia and the other author, Noah, but then like every other chapter flips like Scarlett's perspective, but like 50 or 60 years in the past, and it's just really confusing. Like, I almost wish that the first book was like Georgia and Noah's. I wish it was a duology, because then I would be able to follow both stories. There's actually a book that I read where I was like, see, if Rebecca Yarros did this, I would like it way more. Like, I would just like it way more because it would be way less confusing. There were just too many storylines, too many plots happening, and my ADHD brain could not handle it. I was like, So I rated that 2.5 stars. And then the book that I read after that was actually my first arc, which, if you are not in the reading community, means advanced reader's copy. Thank you to my friend Catherine, who got me hooked up with the Red String Theory arc by Laura Kung Jessen. I rated it 4 stars. It was adorable. Laura Kung Jessen also wrote Lunar Love, which I read last year in February as well. Rooney is the anonymous artist that works with red string, like one piece of red string. It's like super long, because it's about the red string theory of China, where you are tied by a red string to your soulmate. An adorable theory. Obviously the string is invisible, but she believes in that, and she runs into this NASA engineer named Jack for one night, and they explore the whole city together, and then they are separated for like a few months, I think, and something happens where they cross paths again and have to work together. So it's like a workplace romance, not really enemies to lovers, but like forbidden romance is probably a better way to put it. After that, I read Ali Hazelwood's Check and Mate, which is her first YA romance book. I finished this in one day. My boyfriend loves to play chess, and so I was like, I'm gonna be in the chess world for a little bit, and I rated it 5 stars. It was so cute. It was about 2 chess prodigies. This is like what I wish The Queen's Gambit was about if it had like a season 2, you know, because it's like a chess romance type thing. She's like rivaling this grandmaster and then like accidentally becomes this grandmaster, and it is so cute. I don't know if I would call it a YA romance. There is a fade to black scene, but I just think they labeled it YA so they could be like, look, she's, you know, expanding her writing territory. But it's pretty much just the same as any other, minus the smut. There's no smut in this one, but I loved it so much. It was so cute. Oh, it's perfect for February. I read 2-3 romances so far in February. What you doing? Come here. What you doing? Come here. You want to leave? Yeah? The next book that I read after that was If Only I Had Told Her by Laura Nowlin. This book was what I wish the first book was. I really wanted, oh my god, what's the first book called? This is crazy. If He Had Been With Me. This book is what I wanted If He Had Been With Me to be. I wish it was dual perspective. I feel like it would have hit so much harder if we had like followed them, their childhood, and got both perspectives. So this book is about these 2 childhood best friends, Autumn and Finn. On the first page of the first book, we find out that Finn has died in a car accident, and then it flashes back to their whole childhood, their next door neighbors, and their like love story, and then you find out how he dies. Well, then basically the bookish community convinced Laura Nowlin to make a sequel in Finn's perspective because the first book was only in Autumn's. And so I think we could get 1/3 of the book in Finn's perspective, and then the rest is in Autumn and his best friend Jack's perspective. And it covers grief beautifully, especially with young young adults starting to familiarize themselves with death and tragedy, but I definitely don't think that there needed to be a sequel because it was kind of repetitive. I don't know. If you've read both of them, maybe DM me on Instagram or talk about it in the comments. We can like have a little debate about it because I'm just a little conflicted. This is my review on Goodreads. I just didn't really have the words. Like, I was really happy to be back in that universe again, but I have mixed feelings about it. I am a dual perspective girly. My first favorite books were So This Is How the World Ends and oh my god, I'm blanking. Is it my favorite book if I can't even remember what it's called? This is so embarrassing. What is even happening right now? The lighting was being super weird. So here we are. I'm just gonna switch. Hi guys. Oh my god. See, the layout of my room is just so weird because nothing that I can set anything on faces or is like against the window because my window is so big. It was like super awkward because the lighting never works out. It never works out. Oh my gosh, this is so embarrassing. The only times that I actually film are when I have not planned it and just am like, maybe I should film, and then I just hop onto it. The next book that I read after that was Love Boat Taipei. I really loved it. The only reason I picked it up in the bookstore was because it was a random signed copy, and I was like, sure, I don't know who this author is, but now I have a signed copy, so slay. Her name is Abigail Hing, and this is basically the Taipei version of XOXO Kitty, but she has two lovers, so it's a love triangle, and it wasn't her choice to go. Her parents just like told her, hey, we're sending you to Taipei, and she was like, awesome, cool. But it was really cute. I really liked it. I rated it 4 stars, so I really wish that Goodreads had half ratings because then I would probably half rate things more. But it's okay. It's all right. Not everything needs to be harshly reviewed. Maybe if I were to get monetized, I would harshly review things. But right now, it's a little fun and silly. It's just a fun little silly hobby that I have every 2 to 3 months when I decide to film. The next book that I read after that was Fiona and Jane by Chen. I didn't really like this book. It just kind of weirdly felt like a collection of short stories, but it happened to be the same characters. I didn't actually write anything about my review. I rated it 3 stars on Goodreads, but it was more like 2.5 stars. I got it on Book of the Month, and it's just about 2 Asian American women and their lives, but not a lot happened. I didn't really feel like anything changed when I read it. Like, I just kind of felt like, okay, I read that. Usually when books move me, I feel like I should do something in my life to show like appreciation for the people in it or stuff like that. You can't win them all. You can't win them all. I was not one. So then I read Better Than the Movies by Lynn Painter. It was my first Lynn Painter book. It was so cute, and oh my gosh, this was so cute. I ate it up in like one day. The audiobook was fantastic, and I cannot wait until the sequel comes out. If you want to see, I have a few videos coming up. I had my boyfriend choose some of the reads that I read in March, so I think we're gonna do a reading wrap-up together because he wants to rant about one of the books that he just read on my channel, which is gonna be super awesome. And I have a Korean travel vlog coming up for when I'm in Korea, so that'll be super cool and awesome. Hopefully I can get my March reads video up before I get to Korea, or else I will end up just doing a March and April wrap up after I get home from Korea. I don't know. If you want to see anything in particular, you can always DM me on Instagram or comment below. So I'm not really sure what to film or what else other people want to see, but if you have any ideas, I would love to hear them. Please follow me on Instagram or Goodreads, or subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I promise I will film more soon now that I have an actual editing tool. Yeah, so thank you so much for watching this video. If you are a reader, if you're a non-reader, if you're my family member, if you're my friend, I appreciate it so much, and I cannot wait to see you next time. Bye!